Hello, I am Dickson Wasake. I'm a born slave of the great Lord Jesus the Christ, and I am the senior pastor here at ourtestimony.org. Now, in 2017, I had a very radical encounter with the Lord Jesus, and thereafter I got saved and baptized a second time. About 2 months after my radical encounter with the Lord Jesus, I got married to my wife, Brenda. So after spending a few years with the Lord, mainly reading my Bible, the Lord actually called me to start this ministry, ourtestimony.org, which is a global ministry that collects and verifies testimonies. We work with more than 15 global partners around the world, including countries like Nigeria, Cameroon, Myanmar, and Uganda. You can actually visit our website at ourtestimony.org so you can know about our mission, some of these partners, but more importantly, how you too can be part of this great work that the Lord Jesus has given us for His church before the day of the Lord, which is coming. Now, today's message is about why we should celebrate things like Holy Communion even at home, and it is part of a devotional series called Being Alert and Sober. Come along.
God of your promise, you don't speak in vain, no syllable empty or void. For once you have spoken, all nature and science follow the sound of your voice.
If you're wondering why my eyes are red slightly during this message, it's because the Lord overwhelmed me as I was preparing. He reminded me of this testimony that I'm going to share with you. But anyway, most Christians know that Holy Communion together with baptism are one of two things that the Lord Jesus got us to commemorate. But for me, it is much more personal. It is more than just celebrating it in church. And as I said, I'm going to share with you a personal testimony of why I hold fast to Holy Communion. So in that first year that I got saved or returned home as a prodigal after 20 years of wild living, as I told you at the start, I was reading my Bible, had been reading it faithfully for about 5 months. And then about 1 week before my marriage to Brenda, I read this passage. Now when Joshua was near Jericho, he looked up and saw a man standing in front of him with a drawn sword in his hand. Joshua went up to him and asked, "Are you for us or for our enemies?" "Neither," he replied, "but as commander of the army of the Lord, I have now come." Then Joshua fell face down to the ground in reverence and asked him, "What message does my Lord have for his servant?" The commander of the Lord's army replied, "Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy." And Joshua did so. When I finished reading that passage, I heard the Lord speak. He instructed me that on the night of our wedding, we must have Holy Communion, and He would be there with us as the commander of heaven's armies. So my wife and I were to take off our shoes because we would be on holy ground. So on our wedding night, June the 5th of 2017, we obeyed the Lord's command, and in our honeymoon suite, we had Holy Communion and we took off our shoes. The presence of the Lord was so heavy, or what some Christians call kabod, where you feel the manifest presence of His glory. It was so heavy, we were both weeping. And as I said even earlier on, as I was preparing for this message, I was weeping because I remembered this. And so because of this experience, I know that Holy Communion is not just a ritual, something you do in church, but it is a command, a personal command from my Lord to me. But what does this have to do with you? You and I will discover this in part 2 of this message about why we should celebrate Holy Communion even at home. May the Lord keep you until that message. Lord Jesus, come. Maranatha.
But one measure could amount to your desire. The